Wendy's beef might be fresh, never frozen, but it isn't getting customers in the door, and it doesn't seem the company is coming up with anything that will.
I haven't been to a Wendy's in
2024,
forever.
Wendy's publicly floated what turned out to be one of their most unpopular ideas ever when CEO Kirk Tanner said in an earnings call, "Beginning as early as 2025, we will begin testing more enhanced features like dynamic pricing." The concept was similar to what rideshare services like Uber do, with prices changing depending on demand. Once Wendy's dynamic pricing plan was made public, though, backlash
That's
was
stupid.
swift. The
Yeah.
company quickly went into damage control mode, claiming they never planned to raise prices, but rather were thinking about lowering the prices on breakfast items during less busy times of the day.
I would hope that they weren't, because doing it on demand, like, I'm just gonna speak for myself here, but you know, when I go, like, if I'm gonna go into a Wendy's or a McDonald's or something, I like knowing what I'm spending before I walk in. And I like knowing that my burger is, you know, $4 or $5, or my soda is, you know, like, yeah, I don't want to be surprised when I walk in or I, you know, open the app and all of a sudden, because a lot of people are buying my burger that week, you know, like, yeah, that would be the stupidest business decision there.
What the hell is going on? Now, I'm supposed to say that Wendy's clarified things, saying it's dynamic pricing. It's a price gouge.
While there are around 7,000 Wendy's locations open for business in the U.S.,
Is that
in
really
2024,
what a
only
Wendy's
about 400
burger
of those
looks
are
like?
company-owned. And in 2024,
What is
Wendy's
that
announced
patty?
plans to close 140 underperforming locations, with the hopes of eventually replacing them with more profitable ones. The decision to abruptly close down such a
The times I
substantial
have
portion
gone,
of
it's
its
been a
portfolio came after the
chicken
chain's
burger.
latest shift in
So-
strategy. In 2023, it walked back an aggressive plan to move more into food delivery. As a result, some areas of the United States no longer have Wendy's food available at all, something that can't be good for the brand's long-term health.
To be fair, and this might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't get the hype for Wendy's. I've been there, and there's a reason I haven't been there in a while. You know, the only thing I really ever liked from Wendy's was their Frosty. And yeah, the burgers are meh. The fries are meh. You know, like, if I were to take all the fast food places and have like my favorite things, McDonald's fries, Fat Burger burgers, and A&W for the soda, because I do love A&W root beer. That, yeah. So really, none of these places are awesome. They just have like one or two cool or good things, you know? But Wendy's was always kind of one of the worst ones, in my opinion. Like, Wendy's is kind of like my last choice. You know, usually if I'm gonna do fast food, McDonald's and A&W is instantly in my head. Like, those are the first two I think of, and yeah, everything else is an afterthought.
There's a lot of money to be made in the fast food breakfast sector. Just ask McDonald's. They pioneered the fast food breakfast market in the 1970s. And offerings like the Egg McMuffin bring in over $2 billion each year for the chain. Yet, Wendy's hasn't been able to get much traction. The chain has tried several times to launch a nationwide breakfast menu, and each time, they failed. Attempts in 1985, 2007, and 2012 all proved unpopular. And while the new breakfast menu that debuted in 2020 has stuck around the longest, so far it's an expensive gamble that hasn't really paid
They
off.
just don't know
Wendy's
it yet.
initially spent $20 million to get the program off the ground. And in 2024, Wendy's CEO Kirk Tanner pledged to spend another $25 million over the next year to make breakfast stick. He said on an earnings call, "Breakfast remains an incredibly important day part. It is highly profitable, and we have not yet reached our potential." Still, as profitable as the breakfast sector is in theory, Wendy's overall missed its second quarter earnings projections by $7 million. And that could buy you a whole lot of Egg McMuffins. With only a small portion of Wendy's locations actually owned by the company, Wendy's relies on franchisees for most of their business. Independent franchisees pay a fee to Wendy's to use the brand name and sell Wendy's food in exchange for splitting the profits. When it works, it's great for both parties. But when a franchisee fails, both parties suffer financial consequences. Nearly 3/4 of Wendy's franchisees own and run 10 restaurants or less. So if one of them goes under, Wendy's can absorb the blow. The real problem comes when a larger franchise flounders. In 2020, NPC International, which owned over 400 Wendy's locations, declared bankruptcy. And in 2023, the Starboard Group also declared bankruptcy. At one time, it owned as many as 72 Wendy's locations. These sizable losses have made things difficult for Wendy's in an already challenging time.
I always liked little salad
The 10
bars like
biggest
that.
American quick-serve restaurants operate 66,000 outlets outside of the U.S. While there are fast food joints seemingly on every corner in America.
Man, can you imagine that? Why is everything so, like, squished in, right? Like, yeah, that is nuts how they have their shit set up, right? Over here, you can see the McDonald's from a fucking mile away. The sign is huge. There's a parking lot, and like there's a room. There's room, you know, like there's spaces between the restaurants, huge spaces, like I would say 10 feet at least. And yeah, I can't, it's crazy. Yeah, that would be like new territory for me, having everything like, you know, don't get me wrong, there's a couple of streets here, of course, that, you know, there's a shop here and like they're all the same building, but, you know, these don't look like they're the same building. It looks like they're just very close to each other. Haven't had Wendy's breakfast. I haven't either. When I think of breakfast, you know, to be fair, I'm not like a huge breakfast person anyway. My breakfast is my coffee, and I don't wake up hungry. It takes me a while to get hungry. But if I am going to have breakfast, well, it's not even fast food that comes to mind. Although if it were going to be, I'd pick McDonald's. You know, egg muffins are awesome. But there's this place that I really like over here. It's it's not too far from us, and they do my favorite breakfast. That, like, McDonald's doesn't do my favorite breakfast. They just do a nice cheap one. But my favorite is Eggs Benedict, you know, with bacon, of course. And so if I'm going to do breakfast, I'm going to go into a legit restaurant. I'm going to order my Eggs Benedict, get some fucking toast and bacon and, you know, orange juice, and I'll do breakfast, you know. And yeah, either that or I'll cook it myself, which is usually just an egg sandwich and bacon. But yeah, that's how I do it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm with you. I don't even think about Wendy's for breakfast. Hell, I don't even really think about A&W, and they do breakfast. And A&W is like, I don't know, who do I love more, McDonald's or A&W? I don't know. Let's just say they're even. Like, I like them equally, and they're like number one, I guess. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that says a lot that I love A&W and have never gone there for breakfast. Yeah. Yeah. But you are right. Most people have their spot already. And I think for most people, it's McDonald's. You know, that's the glory of pretty much being the first and then doing it for so long. Because really, do you remember there was a time where McDonald's was the only place. Even A&W hadn't started breakfast yet. They were kind of like the second place I knew of that did breakfast. But it was only McDonald's for a very long time. Everywhere else didn't even open up till like almost noon, you know? And I think that's another reason, you know, people got used to it, you know, also. And I guess, I don't know. I was going to say also it's very cheap, but is it anymore? I don't know. I haven't done breakfast at McDonald's in a while. But, you know, I remember back when I did breakfast at McDonald's, it was cheap. I could get for like $5, I could get, you know, like a coffee and an egg McMuffin, which is amazing over here. So
There are still lots of markets around the world where growth is possible. Unfortunately for Wendy's, though, they haven't found as much luck as some of their competitors. That's in part because of a curious legal battle. Collectively, the 27 member nations of the European Union represent the biggest economic market in the world. Wendy's tentatively opened a few stores in Europe in the 1970s and 1980s, but they flopped and closed down. That opened the door for a rival. The US Wendy's and the European Wendy's have engaged in many court battles. But so far, the European Wendy's has always emerged victorious. The more famous Wendy's keeps trying to set up shop in Europe, opening some locations in the non-EU United Kingdom in recent years, and securing agreements to try out Ireland and Romania. But so far, their success has been limited. Less than 20% of Wendy's locations are overseas, compared to more than a third of all McDonald's locations. For many,
I don't know. I'm just gonna say all these different Wendy's in different like areas of the world, and they do things differently. You're not really a Wendy's. Like I'm just gonna say it. The way because I'm pretty sure Wendy's is American originated, right? I'm pretty sure on that. And yeah, how it's done there is the real Wendy's. Like, you could do Wendy's however you want, you know, over in London and all this shit, but you are not the real Wendy's. You know, if I walk into a Wendy's and it looks like a fucking high-class restaurant, it is not a Wendy's. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. I know McDonald's have stuff like that too. There's literal McDonald's restaurants in certain places in the world where you walk in and you almost feel bad about wearing jeans, you know? Like, and those are not the real McDonald's and Wendy's. Just saying. Yeah. Fast food is supposed to be fast food. Yeah.
Nothing matters more than growth. Revenues and the value of their stock need to be consistently moving upward. If a fast food mega chain's revenues are only growing slowly, that's almost as bad as stagnation or a decline. That's the case with Wendy's. They've experienced upticks in revenue, but not as big or as fast as investors want. In 2024, for instance, analysts predicted that Wendy's could expect to enjoy a 6% rate of growth. That didn't happen. After looking at its figures following the second quarter, Wendy's announced that its sales would actually rise by somewhere around 3% to 5% instead. And its customers? There were 2% fewer coming in, suggesting that diners with less income weren't going as often as they once did. It might not sound like much of a difference, but it's enough to make some potential investors worry about Wendy's future. In recent years, Wendy's has faced a number of lawsuits over everything from broken teeth to E. coli, which have cost the company both money and bad publicity, even when they've won.
Right, that's pretty bad. You shouldn't be breaking teeth over a burger.
Of false advertising. Wendy's ultimately emerged victorious, refuting claims that its actual products didn't resemble at all the appetizing burgers shown in photos and commercials and on its website. But the PR damage had already been done. In another class action lawsuit, Wendy's reached a financial settlement with ex-employees who alleged that the company broke Illinois state laws by collecting biometric information from its workers without their consent. The company agreed to pay out $18 million in damages. And 2024, the parents of 11-year-old Aspen Lampers filed suit against Wendy's, alleging that their daughter's consumption of a Biggie Bag in 2022 led her to contract an E. coli infection. After experiencing stage 3 kidney failure, Lampers endured permanent and profound neurological damage.
She had significant brain swelling, suffering seizures while in the hospital. She had left-sided paralysis.
Wendy's has denied any wrongdoing.
I don't know. It's like if that
Bloodborne
is
PC emulation, gentlemen.
Hold up. If that is the case, then that sucks. But I don't know. I feel like I need a little more info on that one. I don't want to just get on the Wendy's hate train for something that serious, you know? Yeah. I think we need a little more info because it's kind of like, you know, I know this probably don't compare because the girl literally had, like, she was in the hospital with plugs all over her head, right? But I know, like, there's so many cases of people suing fast food places. Like, over here, there was a girl that sued was it the Tim Hortons or was it the McDonald's? It was either Timmy. Actually, it probably was Timmy's because they have their coffee pretty hot. But it was a girl suing Timmy's for burning herself. And that's when they started coming out with the things that you put around the coffee cups, right? But I remember that. And I know it's different and not as severe as that case. But it just goes to show that they're probably used to lawsuits, you know, all those fast food places. Yeah.